Okay, dear students, we start our lecture. Today we'll talk about Introduction to Statistics, which is the very important part in probability theory course. So first of all, we have to review and preview what is statistics, what is it about, what do we need, how to do statistics. Then we'll move to statistical thinking. Here's a survey of American Online Society. They have asked the question here, which is this one. Have you ever been hit by a computer virus? This question. They've asked this question. Have you ever been hit by a computer virus? So a number of respondents who said yes. Let's see here. Who said no? Number of respondents. Let's see here. As you can see here. Here's the question. What is wrong with this graph? What is wrong with this graph? This we call a histogram, and what is wrong with it? I have to look carefully to this graph and find the mistakes or like the part that are not correctly presented. As you may notice, it's not started from 0, it starts from 40,000 here. 40,000. It should start from 0. From 0. It should start from 0, but it starts from 40,000. This is the first mistake here that they did. And when we see this kind of surveys or graphs or charts, we need to ask some questions about it. The first question would be, who conducted the survey? The first question, who conducted the survey? If we go back to our survey, it's written Survey of American Online Society. American Online Society is a website. They conducted the survey. The second question, how were respondents selected? How were respondents selected? How they answered the questions. The answer to this question is they created a small part in their website, like small window in the website on the right side, and everyone can attend in this survey. It's not like selected from the administration like in a randomly manner. If you want to attend to this quiz, to this survey, you can, but if you don't have to. The third question, does the graph depict the results in a way that is not misleading? We just answered to this question. The graph depicts the results in a way that is misleading because they start from 40,000. We have to answer to these questions in order to understand the graph. As you can see here, if it is like as this one, because it says 100,000 and 110,000, it's something like 106,000 here, 106,000 something, and for this one it's like 62,000. But if we start from 40,000, it was like that. How about if we start from 0? So we have to subtract from this one 40,000. We got 0, 0, and 0. 6. 10 minus 4 gives us 6. So 66,000. It should be 66,000, not like 106,000. And from this one, when I subtract 40,000 here, got 2 and 2, 22,000. It's 22,000. So it represents the wrong notations for our graph, the Survey of American Online Society. And we talk about simple data in statistics part. What is simple data? Simple data must be collected in an appropriate way, such as through a process of random selection. This is the main part, the interesting, and like this should be considered always. Simple data must be collected in an appropriate way, such as through a process of random selection. We have to select random people, respondents of our survey in a random way. You cannot choose all your friends. You cannot take all your classmates. Right. You have to choose in a randomly manner. If simple data are not collected in an appropriate way, the data may be so completely useless. The data useless that no amount of statistical torturing can salvage them. So the first and the main part, and we can say the requisite to collecting data, to collecting simple data, is it should be in a random way, in a random way. Definitions. What is data? Data are collections of observations such as measurements, genders, or survey responses. A single data value is called a datum. A single data value is called a datum, a term that does not see very much use. So we always use the word data. We most use the word data, which is the collection of observations, measurements, genders, or survey responses, data. Data degani bu ma'lumotlarni data deymizda. Statistics. Statistics is the science of planning studies and experiments, obtaining data, and then organizing, summarizing, presenting, analyzing, and interpreting those data, and then drawing conclusions based on them. So statistics is the science. Statistika degan qismimiz demak bu alohida ilm yo'nalishi, ya'ni fan. Biz aytganimizdek tajribalarni rejalashtirish, u yerdan ma'lumotlar olish, ularni organizing deganda ya'ni tartiblash, summarizing jamlash, xulosalash, presenting ko'rsatish, analyzing tahlil qilish, interpreting those data and drawing conclusions. Ularni bir tushunarli ko'rinishga olib kelib va ular bo'yicha xulosalar yozish. There will move some other definitions which we use always in statistics part. So the first one is a population. A population is the complete collection. A population is the complete collection of all measurements or data that are being considered. The next one is a census. A census is the collection of data from every member of the population. A census is the collection of data from every member of the population. A sample is a sub-collection of members selected from a population. A sample is a sub-collection of members selected from a population. Bular haqida ehtimol nazariyasi qismida ham biz gaplashganmiz sizlar bilan, ya'ni bir umumiy holatdan ma'lum bir qismini ajratib olish. Population deganda biz misol qilishimiz mumkinki, agar institut talabalari o'rtasida qandaydir so'rovnoma o'tkazilayotgan bo'lsa, institut jami talabalari, aytaylik bizning institutda 5000 ta misol tariqasida 5000 ta talaba bu populationni tashkil qiladi. Endi sample deganimiz shu 5000 taning ichidan ajratib olingan 50 ta yoki 30 ta sample. Ana shu populationdan tasodifiy ravishda ajratib olingan. Agar population deb faqatgina guruh talabalarni oladigan bo'lsa, guruhda 15 ta talaba bor. 15 ta. Guruhdagi 15 ta talabadan 3 tasini tanlab olinsa, bu sample bo'ladi. 15 ta population, sample, 3 students. Here's the graph of population and sample. You can understand, like, if we talk population at the population of Uzbekistan, we can say 35 billion people here, and sample will be some like 1,000 or 500. like this one. So population is all the members, simple, randomly selected members, simple, randomly selected members, simple, randomly. We select randomly. You cannot choose all this. Like for example, if we have like 5, you cannot have just these 5. You cannot have this 5. It should be in a random way. Or you cannot have all these colors. It should be in a random way, in a random manner. Statistical thinking. What do we need to do? First, we have to prepare data. Prepare data. And then we have to analyze data. Analyze. Then we can conclude about the data. Prepare, analyze, conclude. 3 steps. The first step, second, and the third. Prepare means tayyorlash, ya'ni ma'lumotlarni biz tayyorlab olishimiz kerak. Buni ham o'ziga yarasha qonun qoidalari bor. Analyze. We have to analyze, which we say tahlil qilishimiz kerak. And then conclude. Xulosalab, ya'ni javob berishimiz kerak. Ular haqida birorta fikr aytishimiz kerak. How to prepare data. The first, about the context. What do the data mean? What is the goal of study? First of all, we have to answer to these 2 questions. O'zi data, ya'ni ma'lumot deganimiz nima degan, ma'nosi nima? Biz o'rganayotgan mana shu ma'lumotni maqsadi nima? Nima uchun o'rganyapmiz uni? Then about the source of the data. Source of the data. The data from a source with a special interest so that there is pressure to obtain results that are favorable to the source. Ya'ni yuqorida aytganimizda institut talabalar o'rtasida so'rovnoma o'tkazilayotgan bo'lsa, bitta guruhda ichidan so'rovnoma o'tkazib, shu natijani butun institut talabalar shu gapni aytdi deyish mumkin emas. Yoki qandaydir ularda qiziqishini ham ko'rish kerak. Masalan, birorta bizda ko'plab bo'lyapti so'rovnomalar. Aytaylik, fan o'qituvchisini dars o'tish haqida so'rov bo'ladigan bo'lsa, bu fan o'qituvchisi qanday dars o'tadi deb, u dars o'tmagan guruhga kirib so'rashi ham mumkin emas. Ma'noga ega bo'lmaydi bu holatda ham. Then about sampling method. Were the data collected in a way that is unbiased or were the data collected in a way that is biased? Ya'ni xolis baholandimi, xolis emasmi? Umuman aloqasi yo'q odamlar ham baho berishi mumkin, bu so'rovnomada qatnashishi mumkin. Shularga e'tibor berishimiz kerak. Biz so'rovnomani tayyorlayotganda, uni o'tkazayotganda, ya'ni ma'lumotlar to'plaganda. Then we have to analyze. First of all, we need to graph the data. We need to graph the data. What we got. Graph the data. Then we need to explore the data. The first, we'll talk about, are there any outliers? What important statistics summarize the data? How are the data distributed? Are there missing data? Did many selected subjects refuse to respond? Ya'ni ma'lumotlarni olgandan keyin uni tahlil qilib, ichidan ajratib olishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Are there any outliers? Outliers degani bu chetki hadlar. Chetki hadlar. Chetki hadlarimiz biz aytishimiz mumkinki, hamma javob berganlar aytaylik, bizda masalan yoshini hisobga oladigan bo'lsa, talabalar yoshi bo'yicha ko'plab biz misollar ishlayapmiz. Yana statistika qismida ham bor bunga o'xshagan misollar. Biz yoshini hisobga oladigan bo'lsa, hammasi 19-20 yosh orasida va bitta 50 yoshli bo'lib qolsa, u endi 50 yoshli outlier hisoblanadi. Chunki masalan bu yerda 50 ta talaba 19-20, 23-25 yoshgacha, bitta 50 yosh. U endi outlier hisoblanadi. U deyarli ta'sir qilmaydi. What important statistics summarize the data? Ya'ni ana shu to'plab olgan ma'lumotlarimiz qanday statistik ahamiyatga ega? How are the data distributed? Qanday taqsimlangan? Bu taqsimlash, taqsimot qonunlarini probability qismida yaxshi o'rgandik biz. Are there missing data? Ya'ni birorta qismi qolib ketdimi? Qandaydir savollar so'ralmadimi? Did many selected subjects refuse to respond? Ya'ni siz 100 ta odamdan so'rovnoma o'tkazdingizda 20 tasi javob berdi, 80 tasi javob bermadi. Ko'pchiligi yo'q, men qatnashmayman so'rovnomada. Bu holatda ham tahlil qilganda shunaqa holatlar uchraydigan bo'lsa, demak u ham statistik xulosa berishga to'sqinlik qiladigan narsalar. Then we use technology to obtain results, which we apply statistical methods. We have to use some technologies like the stat disk or stat Excel or other type of computer programs to get the results. And we conclude statistical significance. There are two types of significance of the statistics. The first one, do the results have statistical significance? The next, do the results have practical significance? The first one and the second one. Ya'ni biz olgan natijalarimiz statistik ahamiyatga egami? Va ikkinchi holatda biz olgan natijalarimiz amaliy ahamiyatga egami? Mana shu savollarga javob berishimiz kerak. Ba'zida bo'lishi mumkinki, biz olgan natijamiz amaliy ahamiyatga ega, lekin statistik ahamiyatga ega emas. Va yoki aksincha, statistik ahamiyatga ega bo'lib turib, amaliy ahamiyatga ega bo'lmasligi ham mumkin. Bunga oid misol ko'ramiz hozir keyingi sahifalarda. Ya'ni xulosa qilishdan oldin biz ana shu amaliy va statistik ahamiyatlarini bilishimiz kerak. Here's an example. It says, let's consider the data in table 1. Here's table 1. This is the data are from the dataset 6 in appendix datasets. Okay, the data in table 1 consists of measured IQ scores, and measured brain volumes from 10 different subjects. I think we understand what is IQ score and brain volume. Yani ana shu IQ score degani aqliy faoliyatini baholash qandaydir. Miya faoliyatining ishlashini baholashda bitta turi bu ham. Brain volume bu miyani hajmi. Bunda o'rganishganki odamlar 10 ta odam tanlab olgan tasodifan ularni IQ score va miya hajmlarini mana shu jadvalga qo'yib solishtirgan. Qandaydir xulosa olishimiz mumkin buni. As you can see here, like one of them have the brain volume 1005 centimeters cube and IQ score 96. And another one, brain volume 1035, IQ score is 87. Another one, 1281, the IQ score is 101. And etc. as you can see here. And there are some questions we need to answer for this exercise. The sampling method. The data in table 1 were obtained from subjects who were recruited by researchers, and the subjects were paid for their participation. Mana shu sohada ish olib borayotgan olimlar, ilmiy izlanuvchilar tomonidan bu ma'lumotlar yig'ilgan. Ular ma'lumotlarni olish uchun ma'lum bir odamlarni yollagan va ularga pul to'lagan. Mana shu nimada qatnashayotganligi uchun. Demak, agar pul to'laydigan bo'lsa, ular xolisona qatnashganligi ehtimoli ko'proq bo'ladi. All subjects were between 24 years and 43 years. Demak, barchalari 24 va 43 yosh orasida bo'lgan. They all had at least a high school education. Demak, ular kamida maktabni bitirgan. And the medical histories of subjects were reviewed in an effort to ensure that no subjects had neurologic or psychiatric disease. Ularning kasallik tarixlari o'rganilib chiqilib, ularda hech qachon miya faoliyatiga bog'liq bo'lgan kasalliklar uchramaganligi ko'rsatilyapti. In this case, the sampling method appears to be sound. Appears to be sound degani to'g'ri deb tarjima qilsak bo'ladi. Appears to be sound. To'g'ri. Biz to'g'ri tanlab olingan, to'g'ri amalga oshirilgan tadqiqot deb tarjima qilsak bo'ladi. And a voluntary response sample. A voluntary response sample, or self-selected sample, is one in which the respondents themselves decide whether to be included. Bunda demak hamma o'zi xohlaganlar qatnashishi mumkin bu so'rovda. Aytishimiz mumkinki, institut binosiga kelganingizda eshik tagiga bitta so'rovnoma qilib qo'ygan qog'ozga shu savollarga javob bering. Majburiy emas. Siz ko'rib qoldingiz, qarasangiz hali vaqtingiz bor, javob beringiz. Bo'lmasa javob bermay o'tib ketishingiz ham mumkin. This is a voluntary response sample example. Internet polls, like Telegram queries, in which people online can decide whether to respond. Mail-in polls, in which subjects can decide whether to reply. Telephone call-in polls, in which newspaper, radio, or television announcements ask that you voluntarily call a special number to register your opinion. Birinchisi bizda internet polls deyapti, internetdagi so'rovnomalar. Bizda oxirgi paytda ko'payib ketdi. Telegramda so'rov jo'natish, ya'ni baho bering, imonga ochko bering, klass bosib qo'ying, like bosib qo'ying deb asal chiqadi-yu, xohlagan odamlar ovozini beradi, xohlaganlar ovozini bermaydi. Bu ham voluntary response sample'ga misol bo'ladi va buni natijasi unchalik ham ahamiyatga ega emas, chunki bu natijasi to'g'ri bo'lmaydi ko'p holatlarda. Yoki gazeta, radio, televizordagi savollarga javob berish. Televizorda bitta qo'shiqni qo'yib, mana shu qo'shiqqa ovoz bering deb yozadi. Bu kimdir xohlasa ovoz beradi, kimdir xohlasa ovoz bermaydi. Bu ham xuddi shu holatda. Ya'ni voluntary response sample bo'ladi. U ko'p narsani hal qilmaydi buning natijalari. So this we call voluntary response sample. Analyze. Then we have to analyze data. But first of all, we need to graph after carefully considering context, source of the data, and sampling method. We can proceed with an analyze that should begin with appropriate graphs and explorations of data. Hamma ma'lumotlarni olib, biz joylab oldik, tekshirdik, to'g'ri ma'lumotlar, ya'ni mana shu ma'lumotlarni yig'ish usullari hammasi talabga javob beryapti. Endi uni tahlil qilishdan oldin birinchi navbatda biz uni grafiklarini chizishimiz kerak. Yoki ma'lum bir holatda, chiroyli holatda jadvalga tushirib, shunda bizga ko'rinadi-da, ma'lumot aytadi. Next step, we have to apply statistical methods. We have to apply statistical methods. Statistical method degani, ya'ni qandaydir telefonda, kompyuterda, internet veb-saytlarida mavjud bo'lgan dasturlar yordamida, onlayn portallar, shu hisob-kitob beradiganlar yordamida biz natija olishimiz mumkin. Chunki allaqachon statistikadagi ko'plab uslublar, qonun-qoidalarga dasturlar yaratilgan. Shu dasturlardan foydalanishimiz mumkin bo'ladi. Eng soddasi Excel kompyuterda bor. Shu Excelga tushirsak ham grafikini chizib beradi bizga. Eng kattasi, eng kichigi, o'rtachasi va hamma qiymatlarni biz qo'lda hisoblaymiz hozircha. Excel o'zi hammasini avtomatik ko'rsatib beradi sizga. Then conclude. Endi xulosalash. Xulosalash uchun biz oldin aytib o'tdik. Statistik ahamiyatga egami yoki amaliy ahamiyatga egami degan savollarga javob berishimiz kerak. Statistical significance says statistical significance is achieved in a study where the results that is very unlikely to occur by chance. When we get a result that is very unlikely to occur by chance. For example, getting 98 girls in 100 verses, getting 98 girls in 100 random verses is statistically significant because such an extreme event is not likely to be the result of random chance. Yani shu 100 ta tasodifiy tanlab olingan chaqaloq orasida 98 tasi qiz bola bo'lishi bu statistik ahamiyatga ega, chunki doimo bu holat yuz bermaydi. Or getting 52 girls in 100 verses is not statistically significant because that event could easily occur with random chance. yoki 100 ta chaqaloq orasida 52 ta qiz bola bo'lishi bu statistik ahamiyatga unchalik ham ega emas. Chunki bu holat o'zi bo'lib turadi. Biz ehtimollar nazariyasida ham buni hisoblab ko'rganmiz. Odatda shunday bo'lishi ham kerak. Practical significance. Endi amaliy ahamiyati. It is possible that some treatment or finding is effective, but common sense might suggest that the treatment or finding does not make enough of a difference to justify its use or to be practical, as illustrated in examples. Qaysidir holatlarda biz olgan xulosamiz amaliy ahamiyatga ega bo'lmasligi ham mumkin. Bu holatni ham qarashimiz kerak. Here's an example. It says, in a test of Atkins' weight loss program, 40 subjects using that program had a mean weight loss of 2.1 kilogram after 1 year. So it says, in a test of Atkins weight loss program. Ya'ni Atkindagi odamni shu vес tashlaydigan og'irlik yo'qotish dasturi bor ekan. Shunda 40 ta qatnashgan odamlardan o'rtacha 2,1 kilogram vazn yo'qotishibdi 1 yil davomida. 1 yil davomida. Using formal methods, ya'ni biz bu yerda statistika usullaridan foydalanib, statistik tahlil, boshqadan foydalanib xulosa qiladigan bo'lsak, o'rtacha 2,1 kilogram vazn yo'qotish bu juda statistik ahamiyatga ega. That is based on statistical criteria. The diet appears to be effective. Ya'ni mana shu Atkins'da vazn yo'qotish programmasi juda ham samarali deyiladi. However, using common sense, it does not seem very worthwhile to pursue a weight loss program resulting in such relatively insignificant results. Someone starting a weight loss program would probably want to lose considerably more than 2.1 kilogram. Although the mean weight loss of 2.1 kilogram is statistically significant, it does not have practical significance. Ya'ni 2,1 kilogram vazn yo'qotish statistik tomondan olib qaraganda bu juda muhim ahamiyatga ega, katta natija, samarali. Amaliy ahamiyati yo'q, chunki 1 yil davomida 2,1 kilogram yo'qotish ahamiyatsiz, chunki oyiga odamlar 5 kilo, 10 kilo vazn yo'qotishi mumkin. Chunki bu dasturda qatnashaman deganlar o'zi shunaqa niyatda qatnashadi. The statistical analysis suggests that the weight loss program is effective, but practical considerations suggest that the program is basically ineffective. Ya'ni sizlar mana shu biz tajribalar o'tkazganda statistika formulalarni qo'llab qanday natijalar oldik, bu natijalarni xulosaladik va xulosada olgan natijamiz statistik ahamiyatga ega bo'lishi bor gap va uni amaliy ahamiyatga egaligini ham tekshirib qo'yishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Amaliy ahamiyatga egaligini ham tekshirib qo'yishimiz kerak bo'ladi. And how to find a percentage of number? Ya'ni sonni foizini qanday topamiz? 1200 ta odam javob berdi deyapti, responses. Unda 6% aytaylik, yo'q deb javob berdi. Shu 6%ni qanday topamiz? 6% of 1,200 people, we get 6 over 100 multiplied by 1,200. Or for example, if I want to find like 5% of 50 people and I need 5%, I have to multiply this one by this one. We can cancel them, 1 zeros here. 5 over 10 times 15, which we got the result. If we cancel by 5, we got 2 here. 15 times 2 gives us 7.5. Or the another way, like 150 times 0.05. This means 5%. If you need like 30%, you have to multiply by 0.3. 30% means multiply by 0.3. Fraction to percentage. Kasrni foizga aylantirish. So it says 3/4 of all people like responded yes for the survey. How much in the percentage notation this one? So first of all, we need to find in decimal fraction. Decimal. 3/4 gives us 0.75. 0.75 we need to multiply by 100 in order to get 75%. 75%. Or for example, 1/5. 1/5 gives us 0.02. 0.2. 0.2, which is 20%. 0.2 times 100 percentage gives us 20%. In order to find the percentage of a fraction, first of all, we need to find in a decimal fraction, then we multiply by 100. Now, decimal to percentage. In order to make decimal to the percentage, just multiply by 100. If it says like the chance is like 0.4, means 0.4 times 100 percentage, which is 40%. We can say 0.85. 0.85 times 100%, which is 85%. Percentage to decimal. In order to make percentage into decimal, just divide by 100. Divide by 100. If you have like 20 hundredths, add 20 percentage, this equals to 20 over 100 gives us 0.20 or 0.2. If we have like 13%, divide by 100 again, we got 0.13. Got 0.13 in percentage to decimal. Now we talk about some exercises. The first is statistical significance versus practical significance. What is the difference between statistical significance and practical significance? Can a statistical study have statistical significance but not practical significance? The first question. To this question we answer it in the question which we talk about, in the example which we've talked about Atkins weight loss program. Xuddi shu savolga Atkinda vazn yo'qotish dasturi degan misolda javob berdik. Ya'ni o'rganilgan ma'lumotlar natijasida olingan xulosalar statistik ahamiyatga ega bo'lishi mumkin, amaliy ahamiyatga ega bo'lmasligi mumkin. Buni ko'rdik biz amalda. Okay, the second question says source of data. In conducting a statistical study, why is it important to consider the source of data? Ya'ni nimaga endi ana shu ma'lumotlarni qayerda kelayotgani bizga muhim. Chunki bu ma'lumotlarda qandaydir xolislik bilan berilganmi javoblar yoki unday emasmi? Shuni yoki kimdir qaysidir javob berishiga majburlanganmi? Yoki majburlangan deya olmaymiz. Qaysidir javob berish ehtimoli ko'proqligini bilib, ana shu odamdan so'ralgan savollar. Shu holatlarda biz ma'lumot qanday to'plangan, qayerdan to'plangan qismini o'rganishimiz kerak. And the third question, voluntary response sample. Voluntary response sample. What is a voluntary response sample and why is such a sample generally not suitable for a statistical study? Voluntary response sample ham ko'rdik biz, aytdik. Telegramda o'tkazilayotgan pollar, ya'ni hamma qatnashishi mumkin, kim xohlasa, xohlamasa qatnashmaydi. Correlation and causation. What is mean the statement correlation does not imply causation? Statistika degan qismida fanimizda korrelyatsiya degan tushuncha bor. U ya'ni ma'lumotlarni bir-biriga bog'liqligini ko'rsatib beradi. Bog'liqligini, qanchalik bog'liq. Sababini ko'rsatib bera olmaydi deyapti. Next question says Wi-Fi security. A survey of 721 subjects involved the providing of personal information when using Wi-Fi hotspots. The survey subjects were internet users who responded to a question that was posted on the electronic edition of USA Today. Ya'ni Amerika bugun degan gazetani onlayn versiyasida o'tkazilgan tadqiqotda 700 ga bitta odam qatnashibdi, Wi-Fi dan foydalanganda o'zini ma'lumotlarini berib, parolni qanday qo'yadi, nimani ishlatadi, qayerda. Demak, bu o'tkazilgan so'rovnoma to'g'rimi yo to'g'ri emasmi degan savol tug'ilyapti. Sampling method appears to be sound or not? Appears to be sound to'g'ri deb tarjima qilamiz. Appears to be sound or not? Okay, try to answer to this question, guys. Javob bormi? Abdul Hafiz.
Which question?
Question
Which
number
question?
9. Prezentatsiya ko'rinyaptimi sizga?
Ko'rayapti.
9-savol ashibdi turibdi. Shu 9-savolda tadqiqot o'tkazildi. 700 ga bitta odam javob berdi tadqiqotda deyapti. Shu o'tkazilgan tadqiqot to'g'ri o'tkazilganmi? To'g'ri yo'li tanlab olinganmi yo noto'g'rimi? Ya'ni bu natijasida shu hamma amerikaliklar mana shunaqa odam deb javob bersa bo'ladimi yo'qmi? Alisher?
Yo'q, unaqa javob bo'lmaydi.
Why?
Yo'q bo'lmasa kerak unda.
Nimaga bo'lmaydi?
Because one person cannot answer for all the American inhabitants.
No. If we choose sampling method correct, like if our sampling method appears to be sound, we can conclude like this. Depends on sampling method. Mana shu tanlab olishga bog'liq. Odamlarni qanday tanlab oldi? Hamma shahardan teng tanlab oldimi? Aytaylik New Yorkdan, Washingtonda, yo'da aytaylik San Fransiskoda hammasidan bir xil sondagi odamlarni tanlab olib va turli sohadagi odamlar hammasini qamrab oldimi yo faqat o'qituvchilardan so'radimi savolda? Yo faqat hammasini New Yorkdagidan so'radimi? Shunga qarab aytish mumkin bo'ladi buni. Xulosa qilish mumkin bo'ladi. In this case it says the internet users. Savolni faqat internet foydalanuvchilardan so'radi deyapti bu holatda. Faqat internet foydalanuvchilaridan. Bu internet foydalanuvchilari ham hammasi USA Today degan gazetani saytiga kiradiganlar ekan. So sampling method does not appears to be sound in this case. Yoki aytaylik, shu Kun.uz'ni saytiga kiradigan, Telegramda Kun.uz'ni o'qiydiganlar javob bera olmaydi. Kim saytiga kiradigan bo'lsa, shular javob beradi. Demak, biz tanlab olgan, o'tkazgan so'rovnomamiz to'g'ri bo'lmaydi. Bundan tashqari, uni saytiga kirganingizda xohlasangiz javob bermasligingiz ham mumkin-da siz. Bu bitta burchagida turadi so'rovnoma deb. Qiziqib qarasangiz ko'rib javob berasiz, bo'lmasa turaveradi u yerda. Kim e'tiborga tushib qolsa javob beradi. Bunda faqat qiziquvchilar javob beradi. Shuning uchun buni biz to'g'ri deb qabul qila olmaymiz. The next question is text messaging in a survey of 109 subjects. Each was asked to indicate how many text messages they send and receive each day. The sample consists of those who choose to respond to the request post on StatCrunch website. And the next question is also similar in a way that they use StatCrunch website to get the results of respondents. And bu savolda ham StatCrunch degan veb-saytga kiradigan odamlar javob berish kerak. Xolasa javob beradi, xohlamasa yo'q. Bunda ham to'g'ri kelmaydi. Applying for a job. Question number 11. Applying for a job. In a survey of 514 human resource professionals, each was asked about the importance of the appearance of a job applicant. The survey subjects were randomly selected by Harris Interactive pollsters. Demak, keyingi savolimizda 514 ta ana shu ishga yollaydigan odamlar so'roq qilingan, ulardan 514 tasida javob bergan. Va bularni tasodifiy ravishda Harris Interactive pollster jamoasi tanlab olgan. Aytaylik, butun Amerikani o'zida bunaqa odamlar 5000 ta bo'ladigan bo'lsa, shundan 514 tasini tasodifiy ravishda tanlab olishgan. Men bunda ana shu tanlab olingan, ya'ni sampling method appears to be sound, to'g'ri qilingan. Chunki tasodifiy tanlab olish kerak qanchadir qismini. Evolution. The next question says about evolution. In a survey of beliefs about evolution, Gallup pollsters randomly selected and telephoned 1018 adults in the United States. Evolutsiya haqidagi savollarni demak Gallup degan tadqiqot jamoasi voyaga yetgan odamlardan 1018 tasini tanlab olibdi. Butun Amerika bo'ylab. Ulardan shu evolutsiya haqida savollar so'ragan. Ishonasizmi? Bunda ham demak mana shu sampling method, ya'ni tanlab olinish uslubi to'g'ri qilingan. Sababi ular tasodifiy ravishda tanlagan. In randomly selected. Keyin faqat yosh kattalar tanlagan. Ular aytishi mumkin. Biz Amerikada o'tkazgan tadqiqotimizga asosan mana shuncha yosh katta odamdan shunchasi bu javobni berdi. Demak, shunday holat bo'lishi mumkin deb ko'proq odamning nomidan gapirish mumkin bo'ladi. Qaysidir ma'noda. O'z doim shunaqa qilinadi. Hamma joyda mana statistika, grafiklar, foizlar, televizorda yaxsiz ham, internet kirsangiz ham, gazeta, telefoningizda biron programmaga kirsangiz ham statistikani ko'rsatayotgan bo'ladi. U yerda statistikani ko'rsatganda, aytaylik, O'zbekistondagi shuncha foiz odam shu ishni qiladi deb yozib qo'yish mumkin. Lekin aslida u ana shuncha odamdan so'rab chiqmaydi. U shu odamni qandaydir uslublar, qandaydir aytishimiz mumkinki, according to some methods and according to their the position, they will differ these people and they can have this survey, and then they will answer for the other population. Like from the population, they will choose a sample, and if this sampling method appears to be sound, they can say this sample is for all. This conclusion is for all. Aytaylik, biz institutimizdagi talabalar o'rtasidan, birinchi kurslar o'rtasida qandaydir so'rovnoma o'tkazildi. Birinchi kurslar talabalar bizda 1000 ta institutda 1000 ta bolani har bittasidan savol so'rab chiqmaydi. Ularni tasodifiy ravishda tanlab oladi. Tasodifiy tanlab olganda ham bitta guruhdan bittadan odam tanlanish ehtimoli bor. Ya'ni hamma ham tanlanmaydi. Shu tasodifiy qilib guruhlarni ham tasodifiy va guruhdagi talabalarni ham tasodifiy tanlab olib hammasidan birorta mavzuda, mana koronavirusga vaksinaga emlanasizmi yo'qmi degan savol berib so'rab chiqish mumkin. Uni natijasiga ko'ra biz aytishimiz mumkinki 90% odam ijobiy javob bergan bo'lsa, keyin xulosa qilish mumkin. Institutimizdagi birinchi kurslarda 90% shunga ijobiy qarayapti deb. Only in the case if the sampling method appears to be sound. Faqatgina u to'g'ri taqsimlangan bo'lsa. Ya'ni birinchi kursda faqat bitta guruhdagi hammasidan savol so'rab qolgan guruhlarda ham shunaqa ekan deyish mumkin emas. Yoki faqatgina bitta binodagi yoki ana shu guruhdagi hamma guruhdagi bir xil yoshdagi talabalarni shularga e'tibor berish kerak. Tanlab olinganda, xulosa qilganda ham albatta bu narsalar ko'rsatilishi kerak bo'ladi. Weight diet. In a study of Marshall weight diet for subjects lost an average of 45 pounds. It's found that there is about a 30% chance of getting such results with a diet that has no effect. Yana bitta dietaga bog'liq misol ekan, ya'ni vazn yo'qotishga bu yerda aytyapti. Marisa weight diet degan dastur yordamida vazn yo'qotishda o'rtacha 45 pound vazn yo'qotishar ekan odam. Boshqa vazn yo'qotish programmasi bilan ham mana 30% imkoniyat bor ekan shuncha vazn yo'qotish. Demak, bunda ham amaliy ahamiyati bor yoki statistik ahamiyati bor, amaliy ahamiyati yo'q degan xulosa kelib chiqadi. Pulse rate of randomly selected male and females listed in below dataset. Ya'ni tasodifiy tanlab olingan erkak va ayol qatnashuvchilarni yurak urishini yozib chiqishgan bu yerga 60, 64, 60, 72, 64 bo'lib erkaklarda va for females we have 68, 72, 88, 60 and 60. So overall we have 10 respondents, 5 of them male, 5 of them females. And here are questions. Refer to table of pulse rates. Is there some meaningful way in which each male pulse rate is matched with the corresponding female pulse rate? It says, are they connected to each other? These together. Are they connected? Do you see any pattern that if you know one of them, for example, if you know this one, can you create this one for all of them? If you know the male pulse rate and you can have the female pulse rate from the male. So what is the difference here? We can say like 8, difference here is 8, difference is 8, and here is like 12. And here we have the difference, which is 4. So in this case, we cannot say it's not always equal. Sometimes we have to add 8, sometimes we have to subtract. So it's not always like, if we calculate, this is like -8, -8, these are positives. The next question says, source of data. The listed pulse rates were obtained for the third National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey conducted by the U.S. Department of Health Human Services. Is this source of the data likely to be unbiased? Unbiased degani xolis degani. Ya'ni 3-milliy sog'liq bo'yicha o'tkazilgan tanlovda mana shu natijalar olingan ekan. Buni ya'ni Amerikaning ana shu sog'liqni saqlash vazirligi o'tkazgan. Demak, bu natijalariga xolis bo'ladimi yoki xolis emasmi? Unbiased degani xolis degani. Unbiased, xolis. The next question says, given the data in the table, what issue can be addressed by conducting a statistical analysis of pulse rates? Mana shunga qarab turib qanday xulosa qilish mumkin? What can we say? Like for example, we can have like 60 plus 64 plus 60 plus 72 plus 64 divided by 5. We have 120, 28, and so we have how much? 120 for them. This together plus 128 plus 72 or 5, which we got here. This is 2. $320 divided by 5, which gives us 64. We can say average pulse rate for male. We can say 64. The average pulse rate for female, we can get another. If we use listed pulse rates with suitable methods for statistics, we can conclude like this. Okay, this is the end of lecture, guys. It's time to finish. I will upload this presentation to your group and to the probability theory channel. You can download from there, and I recommend to read this presentation, to repeat, to review what we have learned, what we talked about today. Darsimiz tugab qopti, vaqt bo'lib qopti. Bu prezentatsiyani gruppalarga keyin kanalga tashlab qo'yaman, kirib ko'ringlar. Ya'ni nimalar o'tganimizni bir ikkita talabalar kechroq kirdinglar yoki takrorlab olish uchun, bir esga tushirish uchun qiyin mavzu emas. Bundan buyog'iga oson mavzular o'tamiz. Statistika qismi qiziq ancha. Savollar bo'lsa beringlar, marhamat.
Domla attendance belgilab qo'ydingizmi?
Ha, attendance ko'rib oldim. O'rtada bir ikkita bolalar kirib chiqib ketib ham qoldi. Ularni ham ko'ramiz. Bitta AS deb kirdi, ism familiyasini yozmabdi, shuni tanimadim. Kim edi u?
Men ketib qoldim, internetda ishlayapman.
Ha, keyin boshqatdan kirdingizmi? AS deb qo'ygan ekan.
Ha.
Birinchi Abdulhafiz deb kirdingiz, keyin chiqib ketib AS kirdi, keyin yana Abdulhafiz deb kirdingiz. Ha.
Yo'q, AS men emasman.
Ha, siz emasmi?
Yo'q, men emasman.
Bo'ldi, yana qarab ko'ramiz. Mayli, sog' bo'linglar, darsimiz tugadi.